Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over the latest episode of The Flash, which we all know is the biggest episode that has been hyped up, that we have been waiting for ever since it was announced, and ever since it was announced that a certain character was going to make his return after leaving the whole universe after his character was killed off, which was Oliver Queen, Stephen Amell, coming back as the Arrow. Now, this episode was hyped up from the get-go, and I gotta say that the episode completely lived up to it. It was everything that we could have asked for in a return of Stephen Amell as Green Arrow. It didn't leave you unsatisfied in the fact of the story itself. It just left you felt like there was no more story to tell, because he comes back, he does this thing, and that's it. It's not leaving you hungering for more, because it was more of a proper goodbye in this sense, because of when they did the series finale of Arrow and everything. It was at the height of COVID, and it kind of fucked with the plans to have certain things come in and do this and that, but this way they were able to do it right. And kind of leading into this episode, as far as The Flash is concerned, for this season anyways, we know it's the last season. It's going to wrap up after this one. It's got 4 episodes left. We'll kind of dive into the trailer for the next one, just because I am not 100% sure what is really going on this season, because this is really the only episode that I was really excited about. Like, I watched the first, I want to say 2 or 3 episodes of this season. I didn't care about the season, and they brought in what was supposed to be kind of a big deal villain, which was Red Death, and kind of just, it was really lackluster with this character, and the arc of the story was over before we really knew what the fuck happened. And they brought them in and saying how this Red Death was from another timeline and this and that, and then they were gone. And it's to my knowledge that they're supposed to bring back Red Death as well as other past villains like Zoom and Reverse Flash. And from what I've seen for the next episode, it's going to kind of focus around Reverse Flash. But this episode, it tied up loose ends, in my opinion, and it really just, it was perfectly written, and Stephen Amell comes back to it and doesn't miss a fucking beat. Like, he jumps into Oliver Queen's persona, and it's like he never left. And so, it was perfectly written and everything, and I guess from there we'll just jump into the episode. Now, it starts off, this episode, it's called It's My Birthday, I'll Die If I Want To, which it's all about celebrating the Flash's birthday, or Barry's birthday. And we have some returning characters, which was John Diggle and Wally. Now, we haven't seen Wally for quite a while. I want to say several seasons at this point. We haven't seen him, but I could be wrong, just because everything's kind of a blur at this point. But we had John Diggle come back. He's been here and there within this show, and also within Superman Lois, which was revealed to be its own Earth. And kind of going into that, with the multiverse, it was always hinted, but never directly said, that it existed again, that it was recreated. And that was what I liked about this episode. We get into the whole celebration of Barry's birthday, and then Bloodwork shows up, and it's revealed that he's poisoned everybody's drinks with his pathogen, or with his DNA, or whatever, to infect them and go on about his business of trying to take over everybody and cheat death because of what he's become. And with Barry and Wally's speed healing, they are able to kind of push it off. But Bloodwork does eventually get to Wally, and gets to his mind and everything, and takes him over, and he's just another one of his minions. Now, the whole reason behind that is because he wants Wally, because not to Wally's knowledge, he kind of has things a little bit mixed up. Like, he is all about trying to achieve peace within himself. He's looking for the ultimate peace and just trying to find balance within his own life and everything. That's why he's been gone off to Tibet and all this. And he thinks that he is meditating and seeing other timeline versions of himself, trying to seek that peace, trying to seek the advice of these other versions of himself. But it's actually revealed that he's actually hopping multiverses. He's actually seeing other versions of himself spread out through the multiverse. And this is the big reason that Bloodwork wants him, because he wants to take Wally, get control of him, and spread this infection of his throughout the multiverse, and basically control everyone. And it's with this that after he gets taken over, that he actually kills Barry. He vibrates through him, crushes his heart and everything. Now, when I watched that part, maybe it's just because I wasn't paying attention, but when he kills him, and he drifts off and he wakes up in the next world. I completely thought it was just a fucking hallucination. Like, oh my god, this is how they're going to bring Oliver back, and just it's all going to be a hallucination or something like that. But it's actually revealed that Wally actually killed him. He actually, actually killed Barry, and this is Barry waking up in purgatory or the next world, the afterlife or what have you. And it actually is Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen is here to kind of inform Barry that because of this whole plan to attack the multiverse, and this is actually where it kind of made me happy in the sense that, through these other shows, through like Superman Lois, who is now its own separate Earth and everything, they hinted here and there that the multiverse was existent again. It was back in place, but they never actually came out and said it. And that it just annoyed me because everyone was so worried that the multiverse didn't exist and they didn't understand that how could we have these different people and different timelines and all this crap. But Oliver comes out and says that he thought he was just creating a new Earth Prime, like everything was around this Earth, but in that he actually created a whole new multiverse where there's just countless worlds now back to the way it was, different versions of different people and everything, and reveals that Red Death is actually a multiverse version of that. It's like from Earth 4125 or some random number like that, and this is kind of a joke that he kind of makes with Barry, that yes, he has all this free time, so he's actually been naming all the different Earths. It's after Oliver reveals this all to Barry that Barry then kind of starts freaking out that the universe, there's nobody there to protect Central City and all this and that, and kind of Oliver kind of just brings it to him, says, we can go back, or you can go back and you can continue your job. And they have this kind of little funny moment where Oliver starts taking off his glove, and it kind of goes back to when it's during the whole crisis thing where Oliver kind of just boops him. That's the joke on it and everything. Boops him on the forehead and kind of throws him into the Speed Force and everything. And so Barry starts freaking out a little bit when he starts taking off his glove. And then he says, no, I'm not going to boop you. And then slugs him in the face, which I thought was a pretty funny joke. And it sends Barry flying back to his body and everything. And he's alive. And it's there that he's greeted by Oliver. And Oliver reveals that he is back, but it's only temporary. He is here because the multiverse is being threatened, and that's kind of part of his job as the Spectre, because he is still the Spectre and everything. So he's able to intervene when it comes to the multiverse. And so he's back, and without missing a beat, he jumps right back into the boots of Arrow and everything. And they're immediately attacked by Wally, who is now under the control of Bloodwork. And it's here that we get Oliver jumping back into action as the Green Arrow, fighting off all these zombie-looking guys that are under Bloodwork's control. And just the action is there. He's in the fight. He's throwing it down just like he used to. And it almost makes you want to cry a little bit just because it is so perfect that he comes in. He does it just as well as he did before he left. And it's like he just never left. And the whole point of this fight is he's trying to kind of he wants to shoot this cleansing arrow, more or less, into the rift that Wally created when he tapped into the multiverse under Bloodwork's control. And this cleansing arrow will actually cleanse the multiverse and everything of Bloodwork's infection. So he has to fight off everybody. And it's here also we kind of flash back because all of Barry's friends are under Bloodwork's control besides Chuck. He actually did not take a drink of the champagne or what have you, and he's kind of barricaded himself in this other room, but Allegra actually gets in and is not so much ready to attack him, but let the other people that are infected get in and do it for her. So it's after this that we hear this commotion in the hallway, and here busts in Keone, who has frozen all of these people in place. She's frozen the water that's within their body and everything, and she's just kind of explaining that she was kind of out and about, and something told her to come back to the lab, that everybody was in trouble. And she freezes all these people and does the same to Allegra, freezes her in place, freezes the water in her body and everything. And it's there they kind of bide their time. They try to figure out what they can do to help these people. And during all this, they actually get to a point where Keone realizes that she can more or less purge the infection out of people but I guess it takes a lot out of her because she only has the energy to do Diggle, and then gets Diggle involved in the fight. And also during this, Barry and Wally are going at it, and Barry reaches Wally and is able to have him fight off the infection with his super healing and everything. And so they're back in the fight. They go after Bloodwork after he's going after Oliver, and it's here that Diggle pops in and shoots a bazooka at the back of Bloodwork. And just, it's a very emotional, tender moment and everything, that these best friends are reunited, albeit temporarily. But just every bit of this episode was great. And it's even more so after the fight that we get back and they continue Barry's birthday party. And with Oliver there, it's just ever more sweet and everything, I guess. And, you know, they do their thing, they have their party. And then we also kind of get a moment afterwards where Barry and Oliver are kind of just off having a drink by themselves, and kind of the closing moments with Oliver there. He kind of rounds it out and goes back to when Oliver and Barry first met, and Oliver explained to him after Barry becomes the Flash that you can be a better man than I am, and just reassuring him that he is doing what he is supposed to do as a hero, and that he is a hero, and just reassuring Barry that the world is in good hands with him as the Flash, and he's doing everything that he can to make it a better world, and that he has no doubt that he will continue to do so. And also just kind of bringing things full circle, we see, because this is during the time, because we all know that Arrow ended with Felicity joining Oliver on the other side. Now, this is before all that. Mia is still a child. She's still training for what she will become down the road. So Oliver is not allowed to interfere with that because of the arrangement that he has made for Felicity to join him later. And that's where they kind of tie that up to where that's why we don't get Felicity in the episode, because he's technically not allowed to. That's part of the rules, is him becoming the Spectre and the arrangement that he's made and everything. So he gives Barry all this reassuring advice and just, tells him everything will be fine, and they get their proper goodbye and everything, and he goes off back to where he's supposed to be in purgatory or the afterlife or whatever you want to call it. And just everything about this episode was perfect. We got to see Stephen Amell come back, do his thing, just be perfect at it. And then we got just some closure with certain characters where Diggle didn't get to say goodbye, but this time he did. Also kind of feeding off of that story where we thought he might become the Green Lantern with the glowing box and everything that he discovered at the end of Arrow, and then him rejecting the box in that last season of The Flash when he goes to visit Eobard and the lockdown in Argus, and Oliver tells him that it was the right move to reject that it was designed to tempt him out of his life, and that he made the right decision because all of his brighter days are now ahead of him, that he's going to be with his family, and that decision that he made to reject that box was the right one. So just a very emotional episode in ways, but it definitely felt like an kind of Arrow Flash mixed episode, because we also got, like when the show would go to a commercial or whatever, we got that Arrow kind of theme mixed in with Barry's, and just it felt like just a proper goodbye to Stephen Amell and the character that he played for 8 years, starting this whole universe and bringing all these characters in, and also with the kind of reveal that the multiverse is very well intact, that it kind of ensures that the DC universe within the CW has the potential to go on. Now, we know we have Superman Lois, we have Gotham Knights. I watched the first couple episodes and then just kind of lost interest. And so it's kind of been that way with Superman too, but I hear it's getting better. And just, I'm kind of maybe jaded by all of it, where I am ready for it to be over. And so I don't want to really overindulge, I guess, within this universe, and just, I don't want to make myself sick of it, because I've been teetering on the brink of being sick of it all. So I'm glad that Flash is ending. We got Oliver Queen to come back, as well as Diggle and Wally, because we may not see them again. Whatever happens with Gotham Knights, I'm pretty sure that's probably set off in its own world, and it's not going to have anything to do with this, which is probably a good thing. And so all in all, the episode was great. It did everything right. It closed out storylines. It brought things full circle in some aspects, and just from all the reviews I've heard and all the reviews I've watched, everyone fucking loved it. Me included. It was the right move by the showrunners and by Stephen Amell, where they didn't try to force anything down our throats or try to force a storyline that didn't work. They come back and they do it right. They answer questions that we had. They close out these stories or whatever that may have not made sense before. But just kind of to close out my argument, it was a great episode and I highly recommend it. Because like I said before, I have not watched like the last few, because after the whole Red Death arc, I just kind of lost interest, and the episodes that followed were very much filler episodes from everything I understand. They were dumb. Nobody cared about them, which is unfortunate for being the last season of The Flash and the closing of this universe and everything. But with what I've seen of at least the next episode, the follow-up episode to this one, it looks like we're going to possibly get maybe another arc closing or a full circle moment, or maybe just a complete reset, because we could see a reset of the timeline for The Flash to maybe close out and end, because we're hoping that we'll still see some people come back and do cameos, because they are bringing back certain villains and everything. And there's a couple other characters we wouldn't mind seeing come back that played for the Flash team. And so it would be good to see them come back. But if you digested all that and you enjoyed this little review and everything and my thoughts about it, please leave the comments below. I want to know what you guys think. And give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. I'd really appreciate it. So until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye.